Here are some examples of projects made in the past. You can notice some have lids that come off and then go back on where the lid's cut out from the top. You'll notice that the second example, there's no lid at all. The bottom was completely cut out, and it's used as more of like a candle jar where light might come out of those openings. So you need to decide what type of pinch pot you're going to make. So we're all going to start with something that looks like a clay pod. Everyone's going to look a little bit different, and don't worry about how to make this. We are going to go through that step by step in class. So everyone's going to have the same type of shape. It is a hollow clay pod or egg, and you're going to need to decide if you're going to keep it that shape or if you want to paddle it. I'm going to show you an example of paddling. Basically, you're going to create some edges or some planes rather than keeping it nice and round. Okay? This shows the example of using the paddle. Now you can see my two samples, one that's been paddled, one that hasn't been paddled. And now I need to start deciding how I am going to address my lid. Okay? I can do this in many different ways. I can simply cut a lid out of a certain area. I can cut the entire thing in half, and half of it can be the lid and half of it can be the rest of the container. You perhaps don't even need to have a lid. This one, the bottom is completely cut out to make sort of a candle jar. And now I'm just tracing on. I'm going to get a knife and I'm going to cut that lid area out, and you can see I now have a hollow form. So now that you've seen how to make the pot, and don't get too concerned, we will go over that in class, the first thing you need to do is flip this paper on the back and answer these brainstorming questions to get an idea of where you want to go with your dedication pot. Tomorrow and the rest of the week, you'll be working through 3 thumbnails. Here's an example of what a drawn thumbnail looks like. You can notice that there's no color, notes, and I'm seeing my example from all angles because I'm making a 3-dimensional form. You also need to include in your sketchbooks or digitally multiple images of what it is you're going to be sculpting so that you can see that object from all angles, just like we did with the sharks, except now you need to take a 2D picture and make it 3D. Once you have all of that in your sketchbook, the thumbnails and the reference images, you can go ahead and start on your final sketch. Your final sketch should be in color. It should include multiple angles of your pot, including a front and side view, possibly a top view, or multiple side views. You also want to show a color scheme, okay, as well as some notes that will help you along in the process. Remember, you need both additive and subtractive parts for this project. While you're working through that process, please make sure you refer back to the front of this page, which will go over the requirements so you get full points for this assignment.